I hear that Mercury's on the move. It's not going backwards, is it?
No. Oh, thank
good.
God. No, you'd throw me out of the studio if Mercury's going backwards now.
Yes'm.
No, but Mercury is joining the planet Mars in the sign of Taurus, which kind of fires things up. And instead of just thinking about things, it's a matter of implementing them. So I thought I would go through all 12 signs and tell them where they could implement things in their life over the next 4 weeks or so.
Especially since I have 2 Tauruses in my house.
Especially since you have 2 Tauruses in your house. And you need to get out of their way. With Mercury and Mars in their sign, they are tired of being held back. And they are going to go forward full steam ahead with whatever project they've been developing over the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. It is time for them to put it into motion, and nobody should stop them, because it's, number one, you won't be able to. Number two, all you'll do is irritate yourself, because Tauruses will not be denied. For Geminis, they have to be very, very careful not to stick their foot in their mouth and not to bite off more than they can chew, because Mars and Mercury both in their 12th house means their own words are going to end up being used against them, and their own actions are going to end up being used against them. So the best thing for Geminis to do is to zip their lips for a little while.
Zip it.
Yes, for Cancers, great time for them. It's time for them to get a group to work together to bring the Cancer what it is that the Cancer says they want. It's the Cancer's idea, but it's going to take a group effort to bring it into fruition, to bring it into being. And it's a group of their female friends rather than their male friends will do that for them. For Leos, 10th house of career and public standing, straight up at the top of your chart. You get to defend actions that you've taken. You get to implement professional things that you've been thinking about since last November. So and it's a time to really stay the course and stand your ground. Ordinarily, I'd say, you may want to back down, but not in this case. In this case, right is on your side, so you want to go ahead and full steam ahead with that. For Virgos, important matters at a distance, legal matters, educational matters, contracts, negotiations, all go very, very well for the Virgo. And the Virgo has to be very careful, because the Virgo is going to say, I want this and that and this and that, and the universe is going to give it to them. And then they'll have to put up or shut up, but the Virgo is very capable of doing that. And you know me, when the law's on your side, you want to use it. For Libras, I don't know why it is, Andrew and Nikki, but you spend a ton of money on unanticipated expenses. These are expenses that you really need to go ahead and do. You weren't really planning on doing them now, but things will reach a point where you have to go ahead and deal with it. So I say fix it right the first time, no half measures with it. Otherwise it'll drag out for 6 weeks and you'll end up spending more at the end of it. For Scorpio, Mars in their 7th house of partners, they have to be really, really careful not to turn what could be perfectly good allies into enemies by being too assertive, too direct, and just too intense for people. Scorpios feel that every single thing is a personal affront, and not every single thing challenges their ego, and they need to pick and choose their battles wisely and realize that sometimes you have to lose a battle in order to win a war. For Sagittarians, it's in their 6th house of work and responsibility, and things are changing at work. Responsibilities are changing at work. And the Sagittarius needs to go along with it and be receptive to it rather than fight it tooth and nail, because it's going to come to be anyway, whether or not they want it. So it's better to acquiesce and be gracious and say, tell me what you want me to do, how you want me to do it, and I will execute it. And they also, Sagittarius, because the 6th house is also health, they need to go ahead and deal with health matters directly. For Capricorns, in their 5th house of love affairs, amusements, pleasure, sports, the good times are just beginning for Capricorns, and they can create something pretty fabulous over the next 4 or 5 weeks or so, and they need to work with younger people to do it. For Aquarians, blowing things up at home, not sure why, not sure what they're blowing up, but they need to be sure that they know where the load-bearing walls are before they go knocking walls down, and there's just difficulties at home that they're going to have open lines of communication to solve. For Pisces, 3rd house of day-to-day living, the pace of their day-to-day living picks up. They've got places to go, people to see, things to do, things to negotiate, all go very, very favorably for the Pisces. And then for the last sign, Aries, real estate, property matters. It's time to rehabilitate a property, to work with a property, to do something with either real estate or finance, but it really has to do with enhancing the value of their existing property. So that's tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac.
Beautiful. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.